Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this is the new Series 10 Apple Watch. Apple released this as one of the largest displays ever, and it comes in 42 or 46 millimeter. We'll take a look at the 46 millimeter on both the aluminum version and titanium. Now it starts at $399 for aluminum, goes up to $549 or more depending on the band, cellular and Wi-Fi. Titanium comes with cellular and Wi-Fi out of the box and is $699 up to $799, again depending on band, loop, and you can spend even more depending on which version you get, including Hermes. Apple got rid of stainless steel, and let's go ahead and open this up. So this is actually the aluminum version. Let's open it here. There's no sort of discerning factors between both of these boxes. So again, let's go ahead and open it here and see what we've got. So inside, there's the watch and there's the band that I selected. So let's set these aside and let's open up the other one, the titanium one as well. So we'll open this up. Again, the same exact box. Just sort of a wrapper at this point so that you can select what you want and they can package it in the store. And the same nice packaging here. And again, this is the titanium version with the Milanese Loop band that's in slate. So we have a few different colors this year. With the aluminum version, we have silver, rose gold, or a new jet black that I have here. With titanium, we have natural, gold, and slate that I have here. It's supposedly a polished titanium as well. Let's go ahead and unbox it. So we'll start with the aluminum version. So let's go ahead and open this up. Just pull these pull tabs. Again on the other side. There we are. And this is the first time seeing it. And the last jet black color they had was with the iPhone 7, I believe. So this is the watch itself. Let's go ahead and remove it out of the packaging here. And we'll compare it with the Ultra, as it's supposedly got a larger display. Turned on by itself, I must have pressed the button. It's also supposed to be the thinnest Apple Watch. So let's set this aside, see what we've got in the box. And in the box, we've, again, got no stickers, just like the iPhone 16 this year. And it's just sort of a warranty card. And then we've got a charger. At least it's a braided cable, so we have USB-C to the charger now. So typical charger included in just about everything. And let's see what the band is like. So we'll set this aside here, and here's the band that I chose, and this one is actually called the Sport Loop in ink. So let's open it up. These Sport Loops are generally pretty comfortable. And again, if we just pull this out here, it's easier just to pull it out like this. You can slide this out, but sometimes it fights with you, so you can just pull that out there, and then again, you've got a little sort of warranty card in there. Set that aside, and here's the band. So let's go ahead and attach the band. Just attaches like that, as you would expect, like that. And then again, this side, just like that, very snug fit. And then we have that in place. Now, the overall size looks to be pretty large in general. That's next to the Ultra 2. So again, we'll compare that in just a moment, but it's a very shiny black coating on it. You'll see we have speakers on the left. We've got our sensors on the bottom. And then we have on the other side, of course, our digital crown and then our button that we have. So again, let's set this aside and take a closer look at the titanium version as well. So as I mentioned before, this is the Slate Titanium. Let's open it up. This is probably going to be the watch I'll use if I switch from the Ultra. We'll have to take a look. Some people have said this looks really nice. So we have the same sort of inside here with the matching cover. See if we can slide this out again. This one's really in here, so I'll probably have to rip this to get it out. So slate titanium, and it's a polished titanium, something I wouldn't really expect. I didn't know that you could do that, but it may be a coating over the top. So again, your digital crown, your button, microphone. Then on the other side, you've got your speakers. On the back, again, your sensors. And you'll see it says Series 10 46 millimeter titanium case, sapphire crystal. That's what we have on the display instead of glass. And then in the box, let's see if anything's different. Looks like we've got the exact same cable. Now let's take a look at the Milanese Loop. We'll open it up here. And I'm not sure how much this will work for me, as the previous one actually pinched your hair a lot if you have hair on your arms. Let's see if we can slide this out. It's fairly heavy as well. So we'll just pop this out here like this. And kind of destroys the case as you take it out, but you can see through it there. So let's bring it up close to take a closer look at the overall pattern here of the metal. You can see here, it looks pretty good. Of course, this is magnetic, just like before. So it magnetically adheres with a little gasket here to however you'd like. Let's go ahead and place it on the watch itself. So place it here. And then again on the other side. It's a very tight fit as far as the machining here. It's very hard to get that in there. There we go. And you'll see it actually sits in there nicely. So it matches perfectly to the case of the titanium watch. Gives you an idea of what it looks like up close. Let's take a look close up with the aluminum version as well here. And it matches pretty well. Of course, it's plastic versus the aluminum, and there's definitely a weight difference here. As far as the overall weight, well, the aluminum version actually comes in at 36.4 grams, where the titanium comes in at 41.7 grams. It's much lighter than what we had with stainless steel, which was 51.5 grams last year. Now, this is supposed to be the largest display ever, and also has 95% recycled titanium. Now, like I mentioned before, the display is glass on the aluminum version and sapphire crystal on the titanium version. It definitely holds up pretty well in my experience, but let's compare them to what we have with previous generations and the current Apple Watch Ultra 2. Now, actually seeing the size of these, other than their physical size without the display on, is difficult to see the difference. You can see that it's definitely a little bit thinner. This is actually a Series 7, as you can see here. Series 7, 45 millimeter. Here is the Series 10, 46 millimeter, so it gives you an idea of size, but instead of having ceramic on the back, this time around, we've got a little bit of a different mix with metal and sapphire on the back. So they've changed that a little bit. You can see the difference here. And again, with titanium here, we'll flip this over. Here's the titanium one side by side. So they look very, very similar, but as far as the overall size from the back, it's really hard to tell. However, the overall thinness is definitely noticeable here. So you can see the difference. It's definitely a little bit thinner, so you'll feel that on your wrist. Now let's get these set up so we can compare the displays. Now my iPhone picked up on one of the Apple Watches. Let's go ahead and tap continue. It brings us in here to set up a new watch. So we'll set it up for myself. Then we'll bring the Apple Watch in. There we go. It picked both of them, so I guess we'll start with the aluminum version here. Give it a second to recognize it, then it will start the pairing process. So let me move these away, and we'll walk through one of these, and then I'll pair the other one. Now with that display, you can definitely see the larger size here. So we'll just set it up as a new Apple Watch for now. On my left wrist, then it says connecting your Apple Watch. This may take a moment. We have to agree to the terms and conditions. Then we can set a passcode. I won't add one for now, but I'll do that later. Just keeps the display on during videos. And then we can select the text size, make it larger or smaller, and you'll see it change in real time there. We'll tap continue. You go through some health settings, and then you have the option to have it let you know about loud noises. I always find that useful, so I'll tap continue, and then we have safety where it says SOS with emergency SOS, fall detection, crash detection, and backtrack. And then we can see how it uses double tap. So we can use double tap with it. And then we have a new depth gauge here, so the depth app can be used with it. So we'll open when submerged, and now it's signing into my account. Now it's syncing, and it actually seems like it's going much faster than the older watches. Get to know your watch, and then you can see what's new with watchOS 11 and more. Now both watches are set up, and it seems pretty fast. That's thanks to the new S10 system and package. It definitely feels like it responds faster as I've been messing around with the other one. So let's go ahead and go in, and you'll see again, there's the default watch face. Now, in order to compare all of these watches as far as the display size, let's go ahead and switch all of them to maybe a color we can see the bezels better. So as a comparison, I've set all of the watch faces exactly the same, just using the color watch face, gray. And then on the far left, we have a Series 7 45 millimeter. Then we have the Series 10 aluminum, Series 10 titanium, and then Ultra 2. This gives you an idea of what it looks like, and the bezels are definitely noticeable. They don't look much different than what we've got with the Ultra, but compared to to the Series 7, there's a definite difference here. So let's scroll back home here and you can see it side by side. So this gives an idea of what they look like. The bezels are a little bit bigger. It doesn't sort of have a waterfall over the side of the display, but it is something that you can actually notice a little bit. Now off axis is where we're supposed to actually have a big difference here. This time around, when they're tilted off angle here, we should have a much better viewing angle, and it definitely appears to be that way. Another thing I noticed is between the aluminum and the sapphire display on the same Series 10. So if we turn this on here, you can notice there's a slight color difference, and that's probably part of the sapphire versus the glass. That could be a challenge with that. So again, let's turn that on. So that gives you an idea of what they look like. And then compared to the Ultra 2 side by side, again, up close, there's the bezel difference. So again, off axis, again, turn it on. It looks pretty good. In fact, I'd say it's much easier to read. It goes up to 2000 nits of brightness and 40% better off axis. Now it feels nice and fast using it as well. So just going through, maybe changing settings like I just did for the display duration, or just going through different apps, maybe going into your heart rate monitor, things seem to load nice and fast with the S10 system in package. One thing to note, though, in the United States is if you bought a watch before January 18th, so Series 6, 7, 8, or 9, or Ultra 2, you would actually have the option for blood oxygen. However, on the new watches, you won't. That's why I would stick with my Ultra 2 that I currently have, even though I like the new black color they have, because I actually have that sensor here, where I don't with maybe a new one. So I don't know how much I need that, but it is something worth noting. Now also microphones now have voice isolation and the speakers can play back music and podcasts. So if we go into maybe podcasts here, let's go into that, give it a moment to sync here. So now if we go ahead and press play on the podcast here,
It's getting a black titanium color. That ended up being true.
we can turn the volume up and down and it's pretty loud. Listen one more time.
Giving us this color last year? Are you serious?
So you have full control of podcasts. Now it's not loud enough that it would annoy someone typically. Maybe if you were on a bus or somewhere else, that actually would not probably be loud enough to hear, but it's loud enough to hear if you're by yourself and just wanted it to play back on your watch. So you have that option, and you also have it on the Ultra 2 now. Now we also have the new depth app. So if we go down to depth here, you need to submerge the watch in order for it to work. You can see what it looks like here. And we also have a water temperature sensor as well. So that's something that's new in this update. You can use the Oceanic Plus app that they originally used with the Apple Watch Ultra as well. And you can use that on this device. Now, we do have updated things for sleep apnea. That should be live now, depending on which version you're using. And additionally, we should have the regular battery life, 18 hours and 0 to 80% in 30 minutes as far as charging. It should charge much faster. So battery life is hard to say as I haven't used it yet. We just unboxed it, but I'm hard pressed to say it's probably not going to be as good as the Ultra 2, but we'll have to wait and see. Other than that, though, I really like that it has better off-axis viewing. Now, if we go into the watch faces, I really like the standard watch face, but then you lose all your complications. But I think I'll be using the titanium version to try it out. Let me try it on my wrist just to see how it feels as far as how thin it is compared to the other versions I've been using. So again, we'll place this in here. There we go. Pull this all the way out. See if I can get this on my wrist. So I think that looks pretty good. And again, it's definitely, if you have hair on your arms, it's going to pinch your hair. You can definitely feel that, but I think it looks great this year. And it's super thin, super light. So again, it feels pretty good. In fact, it's hard to know it's there other than this band, which is actually a little bit heavy. Let's try the other one. And this is barely noticeable that it's there. This aluminum one is so light along with this nylon band that if you just want something that has a great display but is very lightweight, it definitely will work for you. And I think that looks pretty great this year with this jet black sort of polished finish on both of them. It's hard to say how well it will actually hold up, but I really like the look of the watches this year with the slate and jet black. So I think that will match my iPhone nicely with the black color. So that's side by side. I think it looks great. And in general, I think they're a great upgrade if you don't have a Series 9 or an Ultra 2. Now, a Series 9, if you actually value the blood oxygen sensor in the United States, well, then you'll want to keep that if you got it before January 18th. because you'll gain all of those additional features. So I'll have to use this for a little while, and let me know if you want a full review or if there's any questions you have about it. It's basically a small update as far as what's available with sensors, but it's a big update as far as the display, in my opinion. It actually looks really great off axis, which is one of the things where when you're wanting to maybe glance down at something, it makes it much easier just sort of to look at it when it's off axis. So let me know what you think of these this year. Did you pick one up? And which version are you going to use? I really like the titanium since it has sapphire on the outside and it's harder to scratch. So I may go with this. I'm not sure just yet, but let me know what you think in the comments below. One other thing about the display worth mentioning is when it's off axis like this, in this sort of mode that we have on the aluminum version, it can refresh the display once per second, and then you actually get the second timer even with the display sort of in low power mode. So that's a nice advantage this year, but I don't know if it's enough for everyone to pick one of these up, of course. This is the new Reflections watch face that goes along with the Slate Titanium as well. So I think they're both great watches. If you maybe have a Series 7 or Series 8, it's probably worth upgrading. But again, if you are going to lose that blood oxygen sensor in the United States, it may not be worth it to you. But let me know what you think of that in the comments below. If you did pick one up, I'd love to hear which version you picked up, whether it's aluminum or titanium, or if you're sticking maybe with an Ultra or an older watch. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.